Absolutely not. He was very clearly a danger to...
As their duly elected representatives, we must fight back. We must stand tall. We must be tough.
So when you look at what America is facing, would you agree with me the best thing we could do as a nation?
Tearing apart families and making our streets less safe.
This is why we have to pass the REINS Act, because the REINS Act...
There is no other right where we require individuals to show a need in order to be able to exercise that right.
Overview. The ongoing legal saga surrounding the ATF's pistol brace rule has captured significant attention within legal circles, the arms community, and among advocates for individual rights. This complex and evolving legal landscape is marked by strategic maneuvering, constitutional considerations, and dynamic legal interpretations. In this context, recent developments have added layers of complexity, shaped the trajectory of the legal battles, and influenced the broader discourse on administrative authority and the Second Amendment. The ATF's pistol brace rule, a regulatory framework that determines the classification and usage of pistol stabilizing braces, has been a focal point of contention. These braces, originally designed to enhance arm stability and control for individuals with disabilities, have become a subject of regulatory scrutiny. The ATF's rule, introduced to clarify the eligibility criteria for these braces, has faced legal challenges, questioning its legitimacy, constitutional implications, and the scope of the agency's authority. The crux of the matter lies in the ATF's attempt to redefine certain arms equipped with stabilizing braces as short-barreled rifles, which are subject to more stringent regulations under the National Firearms Act. This reclassification has prompted legal challenges as arm owners, advocacy groups, and legal experts argue that the ATF's interpretation exceeds its regulatory authority and infringes on the Second Amendment rights of individuals to bear arms. Recent developments in the legal battle over the pistol brace rule have added a significant layer of complexity to an already intricate landscape. One notable development is the ATF's controversial defense strategy, where the agency argues that lawsuits against the rule should be dismissed on the grounds that allowing them to proceed would enable plaintiffs to avoid paying required taxes under the NFA. This maneuver has sparked intense debate, with legal experts questioning the ATF's interpretation of tax-related issues in the context of these lawsuits. Furthermore, recent court decisions, including the nationwide preliminary injunction granted by Judge Matthew Kaczmarek in the Brito case, have introduced a new dimension to the legal landscape. The issuance of nationwide injunctions implies a recognition by the courts that there are substantial legal questions at play, and the potential harm caused by the enforcement of the rule outweighs any regulatory interests put forth by the ATF. The significance of these recent developments extends beyond the specific details of the pistol brace rule. It reflects the broader tension between administrative agencies' regulatory authority and the need to uphold individual rights, particularly those protected by the Second Amendment.
Okay, and he was released based on what charge? He was facing a charge and released?
And you can fire your Congress critter, but you cannot fire these unelected bureaucrats.
Absolutely not. He was very clearly a danger to...
and said he supports a ban on the sale of assault weapons, which there's no such thing.
As their duly elected representatives, we must fight back. We must stand tall. We must be tough.
America would be responding in a certain way.
The legal battles surrounding the ATF's rule contribute to an ongoing conversation about the proper scope of agency authority, the role of the judiciary in checking that authority, and the delicate balance between public safety concerns and individual liberties. Unraveling the legal landscape. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives is at the center of a legal maelstrom, attempting to dismiss lawsuits related to the pistol brace rule by advancing controversial arguments. The rule has been a focal point of contention within the armed community, and the ATF's maneuvers have added layers of complexity to an already intricate legal landscape. The pistol brace rule, initially designed to regulate the use of stabilizing braces on pistols, has sparked significant legal challenges. These accessories, originally intended to aid disabled shooters, have become the subject of regulatory scrutiny. The ATF's attempts to redefine the criteria for these braces have led to an influx of lawsuits, with individuals and organizations challenging the rule's validity and potential impact on Second Amendment rights. A controversial facet of the ATF's defense is the assertion that individuals cannot sue over the pistol brace rule without circumventing a required tax payment under the NFA. The NFA imposes taxes on certain arm-related transactions, and the ATF contends that allowing lawsuits against the brace rule would, in essence, undermine the prescribed tax payment process. This argument has raised eyebrows as it introduces a novel legal stance that could have broader implications for challenges against arm regulations. Amidst this legal wrangling, Judge Kasmer has granted a nationwide preliminary injunction against the entire pistol brace rule. This move has provided a temporary respite for those opposing the ATF's regulatory actions, preventing the enforcement of the rule on a broader scale. However, the ATF's subsequent decision to appeal this ruling introduces an additional layer of complexity to an already convoluted legal saga. The ATF's decision to appeal the ruling on the pistol brace rules is a calculated risk that could potentially backfire. Appeals introduce an element of uncertainty, and the outcome of such legal challenges is unpredictable. The ATF's persistence in defending its position, despite facing judicial pushback, underscores the agency's commitment to reshaping regulations in this contentious domain. A central tenet of the ATF's defense strategy revolves around the assertion that the primary mechanism for disrupting the assessment of a tax is through a refund suit. This legal approach suggests that individuals challenging the NFA tax associated with braced pistols should follow the established procedure of seeking refunds rather than attempting to directly restrain the enforcement of the tax. The ATF's emphasis on this procedural avenue raises questions about the practicality and efficacy of such a mechanism in the context of arm regulation. Another noteworthy aspect of the ATF's arguments is its willingness to disregard prior guidance on braced pistols, despite the agency's history of changing positions on the matter. The inconsistency in the ATF stance has been a point of contention, with critics highlighting the need for clarity and stability in regulatory guidelines. The ATF's evolving positions introduce an additional layer of complexity, making it challenging for individuals and entities to navigate the regulatory landscape with confidence.
That's why I am proud to join these efforts to protect gun owners across this great United States of America.
This is just a backroom attempt, a backdoor attempt to get.
So when you look at what America is facing, would you agree with me the best thing we could do as a nation?
They don't care about that fundamental liberty law-abiding citizens in this country enjoy.
I think worse than that, sir. You will see millions of otherwise law-abiding citizens.
As of now, multiple injunctions are in place, effectively barring the enforcement of the brace rule. However, the legal landscape is dynamic, and the introduction of new arguments by the ATF could potentially alter the trajectory of these injunctions. The uncertainty surrounding the legal status of the pistol brace rule adds a level of unpredictability for those involved in legal challenges and contributes to the broader debate on arm regulations. Overall, the ATF's controversial arguments in the pistol brace rule lawsuits have intensified the legal complexities surrounding arm regulations. The assertion that lawsuits would circumvent tax payments under the NFA introduces a novel legal dimension, while the agency's persistence in defending its position through appeals adds a layer of uncertainty. As stakeholders await further developments, the evolving nature of the ATF's positions and the legal responses to the pistol brace rule underscore the challenges of navigating a complex and ever-changing legal terrain in the realm of arm regulation. ATF Pistol Brace Rule. In the ongoing legal saga surrounding the ATF's pistol brace rule, a significant update has emerged, bringing attention to the ATF's attempts to dismiss lawsuits and the issuance of a nationwide injunction. As we discussed previously, the ATF has been employing a controversial argument, contending that plaintiffs should not be allowed to bring lawsuits against the pistol brace rule because it could potentially lead to circumventing tax payments under the NFA. The ATF's argument hinges on the notion that lawsuits challenging the pistol brace rule would, in essence, allow individuals to sidestep the required NFA tax payments. This line of reasoning, previously used in the Texas suppressor freedom cases, is facing robust challenges from the plaintiffs. In their latest briefs, the plaintiffs are seeking a summary judgment in their favor and the permanent nationwide vacatur of the pistol brace rules. The essence of the challenge lies in violations of the Administrative Procedure Act and the Second Amendment. Despite previous setbacks in the Fifth Circuit, the ATF has strategically chosen to appeal all pistol brace cases to the circuit. These include prominent cases such as the Mock v. Garland FBC case and the Brito v. Garland case, which secured a nationwide injunction. Other cases from organizations like SAF, NRA, and GOA, with preliminary injunctions in their favor, have also been consolidated for the appeals process. The ATF's decision to appeal to the Fifth Circuit reveals a calculated risk, considering their prior loss in the Mock case. Despite the appeals, the ATF is simultaneously urging the lower courts to issue summary judgments in their favor, aiming to have the case dismissed before reaching the appellate stage.
When you research how many pistol braces the ATF expects to be registered, the number varies.
And talk about how absolutely insane, ridiculous, and unconstitutional.
How many times was this gentleman involved with shooting at people?
Tearing apart families and making our streets less safe.
And it's time to, once and for all, let those swamp creatures know.
Yes, sir, I believe so.
Okay.
In a significant development, the ATF made a critical oversight in its argument. FPC exposed that the challenge to the pistol brace rule is not primarily about the process of registering an SBR or the obligation to pay NFA taxes. Instead, the core of the legal challenge is an APA challenge and a Second Amendment challenge. The plaintiffs contend that the legitimacy of the pistol brace rule created by the ATF is at the heart of the matter, with the NFA tax component being peripheral. Adding another layer to the legal landscape, Judge Matthew Kaczmarek issued a nationwide preliminary injunction against the entire pistol brace rule. This injunction serves to block the enforcement of the rule across the nation while the legal proceedings unfold. Judge Matthew Kaczmarek's decision builds on a prior ruling by Judge O'Connor. Overall, the current status of lawsuits against the ATF's pistol brace rule reflects a dynamic legal landscape. The ATF's controversial argument about tax payments is facing robust challenges from the plaintiffs, who assert that the core issues revolve around APA violations and Second Amendment concerns. The issuance of a nationwide injunction further complicates the ATF's strategy, setting the stage for complex legal proceedings and potential ramifications for the future of arm regulations. As these legal battles unfold, the intricacies of administrative law and constitutional rights are playing a pivotal role in shaping the contours of the ongoing dispute. ATF's tax argument. The legal battle over the ATF's pistol brace rule has taken a significant turn with the ATF's unexpected move to argue taxes in the lower courts, specifically in the Mock v. Garland case. This maneuver adds a layer of complexity to an already intricate legal landscape, raising questions about the ATF strategy and the validity of their argument. In response to the appeal of cases like Mock v. Garland to higher courts, the ATF has opted to take a calculated risk at the lower court level. They are currently seeking a motion for summary judgment, and their primary line of argument revolves around taxes. The ATF contends that these lawsuits are invalid because, according to them, the plaintiffs aim to obstruct the collection of required taxes under the NFA. The ATF's argument leans heavily on the Tax Anti-Injunction Act, asserting that Americans cannot sue the ATF to prevent the pre-enforcement of the pistol brace rule. According to their position, the AIA requires individual taxpayers to follow the NFA process, which involves registering braced pistols as short-barreled rifles and then seeking a refund from the Attorney General. Only if the refund is denied can individuals file a lawsuit for the recovery of paid taxes. However, a critical distinction arises when considering the nature of the challenges. The Texas case was rooted in a state law that directly contradicted NFA requirements and taxes. In contrast, the current pistol brace challenges are built on the Administrative Procedure Act and Second Amendment claims, questioning the ATF's authority to create the rule in the first place. Firearms Policy Coalition, a prominent plaintiff in these cases, responded vehemently to the ATF's tax-centered argument. FPC argues that the tax issue is ancillary and not at the core of the challenges.
This new rule is.
The first time he was facing at least one felony domestic violence charge and
Is changed so that they are not out hurting people, they stay in jail.
There's probably going to be many more boating accidents this spring and summer than we've ever encountered.
This is why we have to pass the REINS Act, because the REINS Act,
As our criminal justice system has gotten softer, that problem's only gotten bigger.
Shall not be infringed.
Their brief against the ATF's motion for summary judgment asserts that the relief sought in these cases is not directed at the acts of assessment, levy, and tax collection. Instead, the plaintiffs are seeking the vacatur of the final rule, emphasizing that the AIA does not apply in this context. The ATF's decision to pivot to a tax-centered argument introduces a contentious dimension to the ongoing legal battles over the pistol brace rule. Critics argue that this move appears as an attempt to shield the ATF from direct legal challenges by framing the disputes as tax-related issues. However, the plaintiffs, notably FPC, counter this argument by highlighting that the core challenges are rooted in APA violations and Second Amendment concerns. As these legal proceedings unfold, the implications of the ATF's tax argument will undoubtedly shape the trajectory of the cases. The nuanced interplay between administrative law, constitutional rights, and tax-related considerations adds complexity to an already intricate legal landscape. The outcome of these challenges will not only influence the fate of the pistol brace rule, but also set precedents for the boundaries of ATF authority and the avenues available for citizens to contest federal regulations. The legal chess game. In the ongoing legal saga surrounding the ATF's pistol brace rule, a recent twist has emerged as the ATF attempts to pivot its defense strategy by emphasizing taxes. This move has sparked intense legal debates, with critics arguing that the ATF is merely grasping at straws, while plaintiffs counter that the core issue is agency overreach and not taxation. The ATF's decision to introduce a tax-centered argument is seen by many as a strategic maneuver, a last-ditch effort to counter the mounting legal challenges against the pistol brace rule. The ATF contends that allowing these lawsuits to proceed would result in the circumvention of required taxes under the NFA. In essence, they claim that plaintiffs cannot bring these suits without interfering with tax payments. FPC and other plaintiffs have robustly responded to the ATF's tax argument. They assert that the relief sought in these cases does not target the NFA's transfer tax directly. Instead, the lawsuits contest the validity of the final rule under the Administrative Procedure Act, highlighting issues related to agency overreach. FPC argues that the impact on the government's taxing power is at most tangential and incidental, rendering the AIA inapplicable. The plaintiffs argue that the ATF exceeded its authority in creating the rule, a claim that aligns with broader debates about the scope of agency authority, as the Supreme Court grapples with the Chevron doctrine. Amid these legal maneuvers, there are existing nationwide injunctions that shield certain individuals and organizations from the enforcement of the pistol brace rule. Notably, Judge Matthew Kaczmarek granted a preliminary injunction in the BRD case, imposing a nationwide scope. Additionally, other cases, including FPC and GOA, secured preliminary injunctions to protect their memberships. The legal landscape surrounding pistol braces is undeniably dynamic, with cases unfolding at multiple levels and in various courts.
So we need to pass the REINS Act. We need to absolutely stop this regulation in its tracks.
Unfortunately, this is the only magazine that came with the gun, and it wasn't long after I had it.
Take all of the guns from all of the people. That's their goal.
And call on young people to continue leading efforts to end gun violence.
There is no other right where we require individuals to show a need in order to be able to exercise that right.
As the legal chess game continues, the Supreme Court's engagement with Chevron doctrine-related issues adds another layer of complexity. The ATF's move to introduce a tax argument reflects the agency's attempt to navigate a challenging legal terrain. In supposition, the pistol brace cases are far from reaching a resolution. The ATF's tax argument introduces a new dimension, but its effectiveness remains uncertain. Plaintiffs, particularly FPC, are resolute in asserting that the core challenge lies in agency overreach and not taxation. As these cases progress through the legal system, the outcomes will undoubtedly shape not only the future of pistol brace regulations, but also broader discussions about the limits of agency authority and the constitutional rights of arm owners. Dynamic legal landscape. The dynamic legal landscape surrounding the ATF's pistol brace rule and the ongoing legal battles reflect the intricate interplay of legal arguments, agency authority, and constitutional rights. At the heart of this complexity is the shifting ground of legal dynamics, with crucial implications for arm regulations and individual rights. The legal challenges to the ATF's pistol brace rule have created a dynamic legal chess game with strategic moves and countermoves. Plaintiffs, including the FPC, have responded to the ATF's controversial defense strategy by highlighting core legal issues, asserting challenges under the APA, and raising Second Amendment concerns. This back-and-forth legal exchange adds a layer of complexity to the ongoing litigation. The Supreme Court's engagement with the Chevron doctrine further intensifies the legal landscape. The Chevron doctrine, established in Chevron USA Inc. versus Natural Resources Defense Council Inc., addresses the extensive deference courts should give to administrative agencies' interpretations of statutes. The ATF's pistol brace rule falls within this framework, as the agency's interpretation of its own authority is being scrutinized. Recent debates and decisions by the Supreme Court regarding Chevron deference have created an additional layer of uncertainty. There is an ongoing reevaluation of the degree to which courts should defer to agency interpretations, potentially influencing the outcomes of cases like those challenging the pistol brace rule. This adds a dimension of unpredictability to the legal landscape. The legal landscape is further complicated by the fact that the pistol brace cases involve not only challenges to specific regulations, but also broader questions about agency overreach and constitutional rights. The ATF's attempt to anchor its defense on tax-related arguments, citing the AIA, has introduced a novel element. Plaintiffs, led by FPC, have effectively countered this argument, asserting that the relief sought in their cases primarily targets the legitimacy of the pistol brace rule itself, not the NFA's transfer tax. The tangential impact on the government's taxing power is downplayed in favor of the core challenges related to agency authority and constitutional rights. The uncertainty surrounding legal outcomes in the pistol brace cases adds to the complexity. While there are existing nationwide injunctions, each case involves nuanced legal arguments and unique circumstances.
Both specific individuals and the public at large.
Mr. Manguel,
That the Second Amendment shall not be infringed.
let's see what is the most compelling thing to learn from that case.
And stand against this abuse of power on their behalf.
Accept and tolerate.
Well, if your proposition is true,
the recent decision by Judge Matthew Kasmer to grant a nationwide preliminary injunction against the entire pistol brace rule in the BRD case adds another layer of uncertainty. As these cases progress, the outcomes at both lower and appellate court levels will significantly shape the legal landscape. The strategic decisions made by the ATF, plaintiffs, and the judiciary will determine not only the fate of the pistol brace rule, but may also set precedents for future legal challenges related to agency actions and constitutional rights. Legal scholars, arm rights advocates, and the public at large are closely watching these developments. The anticipation of legal outcomes stems from the broader implications these cases hold for the balance between administrative authority and individual rights. The multifaceted nature of the legal arguments and the involvement of the Supreme Court in re-examining Chevron deference contribute to the anticipation surrounding these legal battles. In conclusion, the dynamic legal landscape and Supreme Court dynamics in the pistol brace cases underscore the intricate nature of contemporary legal challenges. As legal arguments continue to evolve and courts navigate complex constitutional and administrative law issues, the outcomes of these cases will reverberate beyond the realm of arm regulations, shaping the broader framework for administrative law and individual liberties. That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.